Next event coming up is going to be the retract of the strongback away from the rocket. The strongback you can see on the right side of the Falcon 9, that's the structure that carries the air conditioning up to the spacecraft, the stages, the electrical signals, the pressurization gases, as well as the propellant up to the second stage, and of course that air conditioning into the payload fairing you can see at the very top of the stack. Now in preparation for retraction, the clamp arms that you can see are on the very top of the second stage just below the payload fairing. They'll open up, they're hydraulically operated.
Tanks are pressurizing for strongback retract.
And you've heard that call out. We're pressurizing the tanks. We're putting a little bit of gas, kind of stiffens the tanks up, and that way the clamp arms open up with a nice rigid structure for the Falcon 9 underneath them. Now once those arms are open, we then begin to recline the strongback away from the Falcon 9. That's a process. It'll take a moment. We've heard the call out. The process is now underway. And you can see the clamp arms around stage 2 are coming open. Coming up on T-minus 4 minutes, everything continues to be go. We're currently chilling in the Merlin engines. At T-minus 7 minutes, we open up the pre-valves, which allow the propellant down to the engines to get them prepared for the ignition just before T0. You can see the strongback is now retracting away. It's a slow process. We have hydraulic actuators at the base of the strongback that will pull it away. We do this slowly because you might be able to see we still have the lines that are carrying liquid oxygen to the second stage, as well as the electrical signals and the air conditioning up in the payload fairing. We need to make sure that all of those easily stretch out and all the mechanisms work so that we can get all the way back to the 77-degree position without tugging on any of the lines. Continuing to look good. You may notice a difference here at Vandenberg.
Launch load is complete.
T-minus 3 minutes. We've got the call out right on time. Liquid oxygen loading of the first stage is complete. We're now waiting for second stage. That'll finish up at just inside the T-minus 2 minute mark. I started to mention the strongback is different at Vandenberg. It's a different style. Cape Canaveral, for example, at Kennedy Space Center, we only recline a couple of degrees. Here we recline to 77 degrees and then pull away at liftoff. Now currently we're inside 2.5 minutes. The range continues to be green. And the weather, of course, as you can see there, has cooperated. Even the Vandenberg fog has stayed away. We don't expect any weather conditions to develop in the last couple of minutes. Again, if for some reason we do not launch today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow at the same time. We're listening in right now for LOX load closeout on the second stage.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
And the call out on countdown. Stage 2 LOX load is complete. All propellants are now on board the Falcon 9. We're now beginning to vent down the pressure that was in the tubing on the strongback. That's why you see the cloud coming there. The call out ground gas closeouts. That's where we bleed the pressure off. And that cold gas, when it reacts with the moist, humid air right off of the Pacific Ocean, gives you that nice white cloud, an indicator of launch coming up. Next event, T-minus 1 minute. We should hear the countdown. The Falcon 9 flight computers are in startup and controlling the rocket for the remainder of the countdown.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Right on time. Falcon 9 flight computers on stage 1, stage 2 are running the rocket through the last minute of the count. We'll listen to the go call outs.
LD is go for launch. Mission director is go for launch.
SpaceX and Space Force directors giving their go for launches. We're coming up on T-minus 30 seconds. All systems continue to remain go for launch of Falcon 9 and US Space Force 62.
minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And a liftoff of Falcon 9, go USSF-62, go SpaceX.
Equals pitching downrange.
Stage 1 chamber pressure nominal.
T plus 40 seconds into flight, Falcon 9 on its way
Telemetry or nominal.
with US Space Force 62. Good call outs there, power and telemetry nominal. Propulsion is nominal. We're into the throttle bucket. We're throttling down the 9 Merlin engines. We prepare for the period of maximum dynamic stress coming up in about 10
Falcon 9 is
seconds.
supersonic.
Faster than a speeding bullet, we've gone supersonic.
Max Q.
Max Q call out. We're through the period of maximum stress on the vehicle. We have throttled the Merlin engines back up to full power. Now coming up, we're going to have 4 events. We're going to get main engine cutoff. All 9 Merlins will shut off. We'll then get stage separation, where the first stage pushes itself away from the second stage. And then the second stage engine will start a few seconds later. The Merlin vacuum engine on stage 2 will ignite, and that'll boost the payload into low Earth orbit. We will then have same time, the boost back burn start. Falcon 9's first stage is going to ignite 3 engines, orient itself, and start to head back to land on land, right back at Vandenberg next to where it lifted off. Coming up on main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition. Stage 1 boost back startup.
You've seen it, the first stage heading away under the power of its 3 engines. The second stage vacuum engine is lit for second stage engine start 1. A nice view there of the Vandenberg coastline. Even a little bit of the white contrail visible from where we left Earth on Slick 4 East. Now the first stage boost back continuing. That'll go for another half a minute. We're coming up on fairing deployment next.
Fairing separation confirmed.
We've got call out that the fairing has successfully separated. You're looking right now a view. The first stage continues under the power of 3 Merlin engines. It'll continue to rise towards apogee before descending back down towards the landing zone at Vandenberg. Second stage, meanwhile, in the middle of its 6-minute burn on its way into the parking orbit.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
All right, we've had a successful boost back burn. We've shut down the 3 engines. The stage nitrogen thrusters now beginning to reorient the first stage, and the flight computer has commanded the large titanium grid fins to slowly begin deploying now that the boost back burn is over. So right now we've had a great launch. First stage has done its job so far. It's on the way back. Second stage is running at full power. We're getting great views from space. And we're getting ready now for first stage to come back to landing zone.
Today we will be attempting to recover the Falcon 9 back on land at landing zone 4, and in just a few minutes the booster will execute an entry burn, and following that will be the landing burn. Both burns are meant to slow the booster down rapidly just before landing. And if we do have a successful landing today, that will mark the 279th landing of a Falcon 9 booster. And again, as I mentioned, in order to make its way back to land, Falcon 9 does have 2 more burns to execute. The next one coming up is the entry burn, where 3 of the Merlin engines will reignite. And this just helps to slow the stage down as it re-enters the upper parts of the Earth's atmosphere. And then the final burn for the first stage is the landing burn, and that's a single engine burn, which will bring the vehicle speed down very rapidly in order to softly touch down back on Earth. Falcon 9 is equipped with 4 hypersonic grid fins positioned near the top of the first stage. And during this portion of flight, Stage 1 is using nothing but the grid fins for steering as it returns to Earth. And these grid fins orient the rocket during re-entry, and they help to guide the rocket during its descent. Now, currently we are seeing a view of the second stage, but occasionally you will see on the first stage nitrogen gas bursts for attitude control. And these are basically used to position the vehicle as it heads back towards land.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's confirmation. We have just lit 3 of the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. You can see now we are rapidly slowing the vehicle down as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. And this burn should last just around 20 seconds.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And there we go. There's confirmation of shutdown of the entry burn on the first stage. The Falcon 9 first stage is also equipped with 4 landing legs, and those are made out of state-of-the-art carbon fiber with an aluminum honeycomb. And they are placed symmetrically around the base of the rocket, and they will deploy just
Stage
prior.
1 FTS has saved.
Those legs will deploy just prior to landing. Speaking of landing, we are just about 60 seconds away from that. We are traveling over 2,000 kilometers per hour. This really puts into perspective the deceleration. In the span of just less than a minute, we will have reduced from twice the speed of a jet all the way down to 0.
Transonic.
You just heard that call out. Stage 1 is now traveling slower than the speed of sound as it heads towards land. We can see the California coast just below there on the left side of your screen, heading back towards landing zone 4.
Stage 1 landing burn.
There you go. Wow, great tracking shot of that landing burn. You can see that center E9 engine has now lit. We are slowing the vehicle down very rapidly. Should be seeing those landing legs deploy any second now.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.